The grass at the All England Club looked exactly as it always had, perfectly trimmed, brilliantly green, and steeped in more than a century of tennis tradition. Every summer, the world's greatest players arrive in London dreaming of lifting the most prestigious trophy in the sport. Every point carries history. Every match creates another chapter. Yet on this particular afternoon, something felt strangely different. The world's best players were still competing. The championship was approaching its decisive stages. The stakes had never been higher, but the atmosphere had changed. The cheers were softer. The energy seemed muted. Empty seats that would normally be impossible to find suddenly became visible across sections of the grounds. Television cameras couldn't hide the difference, and fans watching around the world immediately began asking the same question: where had everybody gone? Just days earlier, Wimbledon had experienced one of the most unforgettable atmospheres in recent memory. Thousands of supporters dressed in the colors of the Philippine flag filled the queues before sunrise. Families had traveled from Europe, North America, the Middle East, Australia, and Southeast Asia for one reason: to watch one young player chase history. Whenever Eala walked onto the court, the atmosphere transformed. Every winner was met with thunderous applause. Every break point felt like championship point. Every victory brought another wave of celebration that echoed throughout the All England Club. It wasn't simply support, it was belief. Belief that a young woman from the Philippines was proving that dreams from countries outside tennis traditional powerhouses could become reality. For years, women's tennis has been built around legendary champions whose success naturally attracted fans. Grand Slam winners filled stadiums. World number ones became household names. Rivalries drove television ratings across the globe. Then came Eala. She challenged nearly every assumption about how modern tennis stars are created. Before lifting a Grand Slam trophy, before becoming world number one, before spending years inside the top 10. She was already attracting extraordinary attention wherever she played. Tournament organizers noticed ticket demand increasing whenever her name appeared in the draw. Broadcasters noticed higher engagement across digital platforms. Social media clips featuring her rallies routinely reached audiences far beyond traditional tennis fans. Something unusual was happening. This wasn't simply another promising young player enjoying a breakthrough season. This was the birth of an entirely new audience. Millions of Filipinos who had rarely followed professional tennis suddenly found themselves learning tournament schedules, staying awake through the night to watch matches, and celebrating every victory as if it were a national holiday. Children picked up tennis rackets. Local clubs reported growing interest. Public viewing events attracted thousands of supporters. An entire sporting culture seemed to shift almost overnight. For decades, basketball had dominated the Philippine sporting landscape. Tennis often struggled for mainstream attention outside major international events. Eala's success began changing that conversation. She represented more than rankings and results. She represented possibility. Every match became another reminder that talent can emerge from unexpected places and inspire millions who see themselves reflected in the journey. That emotional connection proved incredibly powerful. Unlike many established stars whose fan bases had grown gradually over years of success, Eala's supporters arrived in enormous numbers almost instantly. They traveled. They celebrated. They created an atmosphere unlike anything many tournaments had experienced in recent years. Commentators repeatedly remarked on the sea of Philippine flags surrounding the courts. Players noticed. Officials noticed. The global tennis community noticed. As her Wimbledon campaign gained momentum, each victory amplified the excitement. The lines outside smaller courts stretched farther than expected. Fans waited patiently for hours simply hoping to secure a seat. Those unable to enter gathered around giant screens across the grounds, applauding every point as though they were sitting courtside. The excitement wasn't manufactured, it was authentic. That authenticity became one of Eala's greatest strengths. She spoke openly about her gratitude toward supporters, her pride in representing her country, and the responsibility she felt as a role model for younger athletes. Those qualities resonated with audiences well beyond tennis. People weren't only following a score, they were following a story. The story of discipline, the story of sacrifice, the story of a young athlete determined to compete against the very best despite coming from a nation rarely associated with elite tennis success. Sports have always loved stories like that. Fans love believing they are witnessing history before everyone else recognizes it. And for many, Eala represented exactly that feeling. Every round seemed bigger than the last. Every interview generated millions of impressions online. Every highlight spread rapidly across social media platforms, introducing new audiences to women's tennis. Whether someone had followed tennis for 20 years or 20 days hardly mattered anymore. People wanted to watch. That growing attention benefited everyone around the tournament. Broadcasters enjoyed larger audiences. Media outlets devoted more coverage to women's matches. Sponsors recognized expanding international interest. The tournament itself gained fresh global exposure through audiences that might never have tuned in otherwise. It appeared to be a perfect success story, but hidden beneath the celebration was a question few people were asking. What happens when an event becomes heavily dependent on one extraordinary story? What happens when thousands of spectators arrive primarily to watch one player? What happens after that player is no longer in the draw? Those questions remained largely theoretical while Eala continued winning. No one wanted to imagine the alternative. After all, every Cinderella story carries hope that the magical run will continue just one more match. Yet professional tennis can be unforgiving. Momentum changes quickly. One difficult opponent, one disappointing afternoon, one defeat, and suddenly, everything looks different. When Alexandra Eala's remarkable Wimbledon journey finally came to an end, fans applauded her historic performance with enormous respect. She had inspired millions. She had introduced countless new viewers to the sport. She had shown that the future of women's tennis could be broader, more global, and more inclusive than many had imagined. Of her exit, another conversation quietly began spreading across social media. It started with a handful of observations, then hundreds, then thousands. People noticed the atmosphere had changed. The excitement felt different. The ground seemed quieter. Whether perception matched reality or not, the discussion grew larger by the hour. A simple phrase began appearing repeatedly across comment sections, discussion forums, and social media feeds. It raised uncomfortable questions about fan engagement, star power, and the future of the women's game. And before long, the debate had become impossible to ignore. The discussion didn't begin inside the locker room. It didn't begin in the broadcast booth either. It started with the fans. As Wimbledon moved into the quarterfinals, many viewers noticed that the atmosphere felt different. The excitement surrounding Alexandra Eala's matches was gone, and social media quickly filled with comparisons between the electric crowds during her run and the quieter scenes that followed. People began asking difficult questions. Was Eala becoming one of the biggest attractions in women's tennis? Or was this simply the natural excitement surrounding a breakthrough story? Whatever the answer, one thing was clear: her Wimbledon journey had captured the attention of millions far beyond the traditional tennis audience. For many Filipinos, this wasn't just another tournament. It was history. Families stayed awake through the night to watch every point. Restaurants and community centers hosted watch parties. Tennis clubs welcomed new players inspired by Eala's success. A nation known primarily for its passion for basketball suddenly had a new sporting hero. That kind of connection cannot be measured by rankings alone. It is built through emotion. Every victory gave fans another reason to believe. Every interview revealed a humble athlete grateful for the opportunity to represent her country. Every match strengthened the bond between player and supporters. Sports organizations spend years trying to create that kind of loyalty. Eala earned it through authenticity. Her remarkable run also reminded the tennis world that the sport's future may lie in reaching entirely new audiences. Countries that have rarely produced Grand Slam contenders suddenly saw what was possible. Young players watched and dreamed. Parents introduced their children to tennis. Coaches spoke about a growing interest in the sport. That may become one of Eala's greatest achievements. Not just the matches she won, but the people she inspired. The debate also highlighted a broader challenge for professional tennis. How can the sport continue attracting new fans after a breakout star leaves a tournament? Every generation has players who bring fresh energy. The goal is to transform that excitement into long-term support for the entire game. That requires compelling rivalries, engaging personalities, and opportunities for new fans to discover more players. Alexandra Eala's Wimbledon run showed that women's tennis has enormous global potential. Millions were watching, millions were invested, millions wanted to be part of the journey. Whether she was lifting a trophy or simply competing with heart, she gave people a reason to care. And perhaps that's the most valuable lesson of all. Because in modern sports, victories create headlines, but inspiration creates legacies. Alexandra Eala's Wimbledon campaign may have ended, but its impact is only beginning. The conversations continue, the expectations are growing, and wherever she plays next, one question will follow her onto every court. Can lightning strike twice? Only time will tell, but one thing is already certain: the tennis world is paying attention. Every great sport eventually reaches a turning point, a moment when one athlete arrives and changes the conversation forever. Not because of endless championships, not because of years spent at world number one, but because they make millions of people care in a way they never did before. For women's tennis, Alexandra Eala may already be that player. At just 21 years old, she has become more than a rising talent. She has become a symbol of hope for an entire generation of young athletes across Asia and beyond. Her journey has shown that determination, discipline, and belief can open doors that once seemed impossible. Her Wimbledon run wasn't just about winning matches. It was about proving that the next global tennis superstar doesn't have to come from a traditional powerhouse. Greatness can emerge from anywhere. That's why her story resonated with millions. Children watched her and imagined themselves on center court one day. Parents saw a role model who carried herself with humility and confidence. Tennis fans discovered a fresh face capable of bringing new excitement to the sport. That kind of influence cannot be manufactured. It has to be earned. And Eala has earned it through years of sacrifice, relentless training, and an unwavering commitment to improving her game. But her journey is only beginning. The expectations will grow higher. Opponents will study her game more closely. Every tournament will bring new pressure, new challenges, and new opportunities. The biggest test isn't reaching the top, it's staying there. History has shown that every rising star eventually faces adversity. Injuries, difficult losses, and moments of doubt are all part of a champion's journey. How Alexandra Eala responds to those moments may ultimately define her career. Yet if Wimbledon proved anything, it's that she already possesses one quality that cannot be taught. She inspires people. And in today's sports landscape, inspiration is one of the most valuable gifts an athlete can offer. Whether she wins her first Grand Slam next season or several years from now, her impact is already being felt. More young players are picking up rackets. More fans are following women's tennis. More countries are believing they can produce world-class champions. That may become Alexandra Eala's greatest legacy, not simply the trophies she wins, but the doors she opens for everyone who follows. As the next chapter of her career begins, one thing is becoming increasingly clear. The tennis world isn't just watching Alexandra Eala, it's watching the future. Because every generation gets a player who changes expectations. A player who expands the sport beyond its traditional boundaries. A player who reminds us that history isn't reserved for the favorites. Sometimes, history belongs to the dreamers. And if Alexandra Eala continues on this remarkable path, Wimbledon may one day remember her breakthrough not as the end of an incredible run, but as the beginning of a remarkable era. The story is far from over. In many ways, it's only just beginning.